News Guardians on Fox Radio 910.
Welcome back. You're listening to the News Guardians on Fox Radio 910. Just as Blair said, I'm Greg. Elizabeth will be back in just a minute. In the meantime, we are going to talk directly with Herb Lux about his situation up there in Fredericksburg. Herb, can you hear me?
I can.
Fantastic. Now, I've told the backstory to people about sort of what's been going on. Just in your own words, kind of give us a brief synopsis of the history with what you've been dealing with up there with the Commonwealth's attorney Neely.
Well, back in 2010, there was a young gentleman put in a false report regarding my son shooting at him. Ultimately, that went to trial on, January of 2011, on the 31st of January. The Commonwealth attorney, Neely, rather than expose deputy sheriffs that came into my son's house with their guns drawn at his bedroom door, which was captured on the video, which was illegal. They never even got a search warrant until about 4 hours after they had entered the home. And that's how he woke up with the deputy sheriff in his house with his guns drawn at his bedroom door. Well, rather than take action against those officers for their unlawful conduct, he brought false charges against my son, and like I said, he was prosecuted on the 31st of January in 2011. He used perjured testimony and withheld evidence, and so after the trial, my son was exonerated of there was 3 charges. He was exonerated of all the charges except for one, which was reckless use. And that had to do with what his attorney actually said about him shooting up the hill when it was pitch black at night. If I would have been on the jury myself, I would have convicted him that too. But the fact of the matter is, his testimony didn't say that. It never happened. He shot down where we shoot at, do our target shooting. But anyway, I went out to expose Neely. The newspaper locally wouldn't print anything, so I passed out thousands of flyers, more than 15,000 flyers, and put up a website, williamfneely.info. Well, obviously, Mr. Neely didn't care for that too much. It was during election year, and he ended up bringing some false charges against me. He initially brought a trespassing charge and threatening or intimidating a juror in the lawful performance of their duty. And, of course, this was a month after the fact of the trial had ended, and, of course, I wasn't even talking to a juror at this residence where I ended up getting arrested. I was actually talking to the husband, passing out these political flyers.
So the charges against you were from activity where you were passing out the flyers, letting people know about what he had done illegal in that previous trial.
That's correct.
And police were sent out to stop you?
Well, yeah. They said I could not. They said I couldn't go to any of these. They called them jurors, but I wasn't going to any jurors. I was talking to citizens, and I gave a warning to the officer at the time when I was stopped. I said, you can't tell me who to talk to. I said, that would be a violation of my right of association and political speech. I said, if somebody doesn't want to talk to me, that's fine. You can just say they don't want to talk, but you can't tell me who to talk to. But regardless of that, they ended up charging me when, in fact, the day that I was arrested was on a Sunday. I'd come from church, and I was decided to see if I can't find some of these people possibly to let them know what had taken place during the trial and how Neely had used, withheld evidence and used for your testimony. And so I thought, who better to be able to communicate with those type of people? Because if I was sat on a jury and was given false information to aid in the conviction of somebody, I would really be upset. So I thought, what a great resource in that sense to help out in exposing him, and at the same time find out what had happened in the trial with my son, and which I did. I ended up finding out from a former juror that, in fact, it was the last shot that was shot that evening where the attorney had actually said he had shot up the hill and behind our home, which would have been reckless. But like I said, that didn't happen.
So during the process of them trying to prosecute you for the passing out flyers activity, at one point they offered you the opportunity to plead guilty and pay a $250 fine. That's
correct.
So
yeah.
Basically have you admit to being guilty of something you hadn't done and put a small fine in there.
It was a $250 fine, or I could face 3 years in jail and a $7,500 fine. And it was false, and there's just no way I would plead to something that I didn't do and label myself as, regardless, it was a misdemeanor. But the point was that I hadn't done anything. Neely had violated the law. The deputy sheriffs had violated the law, so therefore I went forward with the trial.
Well, so I'm sorry. So fast forward to just recently. We're past that now because, of course, you didn't take the plea deal to admit to something that you hadn't done. What we printed the story on this week was Neely lying to a judge to get you put in jail during your appeals process.
Yes, it's kind of reaching a crescendo here because of all the documented evidence of his use of perjury, actually in my case, and again withholding evidence. His modus operandi hasn't really changed. And so on July 3rd, he went to Joseph Ellis, which is a judge that had been recused from the case in Spotsylvania County. He didn't even have the authority to set and make any rulings or decisions, and of course Mr. Neely knew that. But regardless of that fact, he went to him stating that my appeals had been exhausted and that I should be incarcerated to start serving my sentence. So on July 3rd, Joseph Ellis entered an order that did indeed revoke my appeal bond, and they sent out a pickup order to have me picked up and put in the Apprehensive Security Center and incarcerated. So we filed a motion to vacate that order on the 10th, stating that the appeals were still underway, that we were engaged in doing a petition to reconsider that was in the court or in the Supreme Court. And on the 15th, we filed a supplement to that, stating that Joseph Ellis didn't even have the qualifications to sit as a judge and make any rulings in this case. So it was set for hearing on the 17th of July. Prior to that hearing on the 15th, Judge Ellis vacated the order. So that order went by the wayside.
Well, now, we've just got 1 minute left. To give us finally what ended up happening. Where are we at with this?
Okay, well, Neely came back again. This would have been on the July 30th. He sent a letter to a new judge that had been designated, and again basically saying the same things. And that order was entered on August 4th to again incarcerate me. On the 5th, we took actions to have that vacated, and again, that order was vacated on August 6th. So 2 times in the last a little over a month, he had taken action to actually violate my rights and incarcerate me for something I didn't do. Because, like I said, there's a lot of things being exposed right now, and I think between he and his friends up in Stafford County, they know it's coming to a head, and they'd be much better off with me off the street.
Well, thank you for for coming on and telling us your story. Appreciate it. One more time, give out the web address if people want to go to find out more of the background information about what William Neely's been up to. Where do they go?
It's williamfneely.info.
williamfneely.info. All right, and we will keep people informed and keep watching this story. Thank you very much, Herb.
Well, thank you. I appreciate having a chance to talk to you guys.
All right, you're listening to the News Guardians, Fox Radio 910, and we will return with the Wonder Woman of Liberty, Elizabeth, in just a moment, so don't go away.